When someone tells me that they openly spoke to a doctor about how they were feeling emotionally, and the doctor writes a script for depression medication without suggesting any form of counseling or other therapies, or maybe even a holistic alternatives, this tells me that our health professionals are not properly educated in addressing the root cause of disease. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a huge problem on our hands. Welcome to my YouTube channel, your guide to holistic and natural healthcare practices and my lifestyle as a traveler. In a world where mainstream media often is dominated by medicine, we are here to shine a light on alternative wellness options that can help you live a healthier and more balanced life. I created this channel because I believe that everyone should have access to information about available healthcare options. And I'm passionate about exploring and sharing health practices that are not often talked about, but can offer profound benefits. So by following and subscribing to this channel, not only will you stay informed about the latest in holistic healthcare, but you'll also be a part of a community of people who are dedicated to embracing natural wellness alternatives. And your support will help us reach more people by spreading the word about these valuable practices and fostering a healthier, more informed world. So whether you're well-versed in healthcare or you're just starting your journey, this channel offers something for everyone. So join us as we dive into the vast world of natural wellness, and let's challenge the status quo. Let's explore new possibilities and together create a healthier future. And remember, your wellness journey doesn't have to be conventional. It just has to work for you. So hit that subscribe button and let's start exploring together. Traditional Chinese medicine practices teach us how to ebb and flow with life's circumstances, and it teaches us how to bend in the wind. Chinese medicine is a cosmological worldview and an offering to relieve suffering for many future generations as possible. Join me in this session about this timeless, ancient medicine. I did some research earlier this week before preparing for this video, and I found that prescription drug problem in the United States is considered a serious public health issue. The Center of Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, has classified prescription drug abuse as an epidemic, and it is currently the nation's fastest growing drug problem. And my question is, what are we doing about it? What is our nation doing about this problem that we have on our hands? According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, approximately 18 million adults in the United States misused prescription drugs at least once in 2019. Prescription drug abuse can lead to addiction, overdose, serious health consequences such as respiratory challenges, heart failure, and even seizures. Prescription opioids such as codeine, hydrocodone are a particular concern. And the CDC reports that more than 232,000 people die from prescription opioid drug overdose between the years of 1999 and 2018. In addition to the opioids, other commonly abused prescription drugs are things like benzodiazepines, stimulants, and even sedatives. This does not make me feel good at all. In fact, it reminds me of how money-driven our industry is, especially when it comes to the most important thing in our life, which is our health. So let me just tell you a little bit more about the research that I found. The prescription drug problem in the United States has also contributed to many other issues, such as the ongoing opioid crisis, with which Chinese medicine has a very good solution for, and the rise of drug-resistant bacteria. This is the one that really tugs on my heartstrings, because we see more women in particularly suffering from urinary tract infections and other challenges, but they're constantly being given these antibacterials, the antivirals, to mimic the immune system. What happens? Well, it destroys the gut, amongst many other things. So addressing this issue requires a multifaceted approach that includes education, prevention, okay, as well as regulatory measures to curb overprescribing. This means preventing doctors from prescribing medication that before even using other therapies to support the case or to get to the root cause, and to prevent the diversion of prescription drugs. So instead of directly saying, here, take this drug, we're looking at other options like acupuncture, homeopathics, herbal formulation, light therapy, sound therapy, color therapy, yoga. Like, the list is literally endless. Now, the Congressional Budget Office reported in 2019 and 2018 that the pharmaceutical industry spent approximately, this is an astronomical number, $83 billion in the United States alone. And it also estimates that the average cost of bringing a new drug into the market cost $2.6 billion. Unbelievable. There are about 14 major pharmaceutical companies that have spent a total of $521 billion on research and development. Do you know where our country would be today if that money was invested into our education system, into our care systems, holistic therapy programs that help people get back their life? Like, we would be in a different world today. Well, during that time, between 2016 and 2020, 236 new drug companies were approved by the FDA. I hope this isn't too controversial that Facebook takes down my video, but I just want to bring this to light here, because overall, it is clear that the pharmaceutical industry invests in significant resources in developing new drugs. And even though this is an ongoing debate about the high cost of drugs and the need for, things that are more affordable, we need to see more transparent information in pricing and research and development of drugs. Because to be quite honest, as a doctor in the world of traditional Chinese medicine and holistic healthcare, I have seen numerous of people get back their health and their life using holistic means. In fact, I am typically the person who will be your last resort in a situation where you are suffering from a health condition and nothing seems to work. And so in practice, I have to peel back the layers of the onion to get to the root cause in order to find how to bring the body back into balance after it's been completely destroyed and annihilated by substances that mimic the immune system, the endocrine system, the digestive system, and all the other systems in the body. So in today's video, I want to talk about how herbal medicine has lost its ground in the United States, and how herbal medicine can really be the reason why you achieve optimal health. You ready to do this? All right, let's get started. Herbal medicine has been the medicine of necessity and the medicine of choice since the beginning of history. And we're talking about Asian history, Chinese history, Japanese history. Like, these are the most oldest civilizations that have existed have implemented herbal formulation. About 80% of our planet's population still actively uses herbal medicine as its foremost source of healthcare. This means that in countries abroad that are outside of the United States, they use a more of a concentrated amount of herbal formulation before looking at synthetic drugs. For example, when I did an internship in China back in 2010, I remember going to a Chinese hospital and seeing how they evaluate an individual to find out what the root cause is, and they implement Chinese medicine herbal formulation first before introducing Western medicine. So what does this suggest? Well, it suggests a lot of things, that herbs are living. They are life substances. They are food, and they stimulate our receptors and influence these chemical reactions in our body systems. So the human body, our body, functions with flow and balance. And that means that the body becomes structured and more stable when there is flow and a constant flow of energy and matter. So when we look at herbs from a scientific perspective, if we were to look at its molecular structure, we would find that it is a carbon-based material, and we are also carbon-based. And so when carbon and carbon come together, there is this terminology called chirility. And chirility means that it matches. There is a matching system. And when that matching system clicks, when things come together organically and one piece of matter understands the other piece of matter's, DNA and chemistry, then the body knows how to work. It knows how to work together. And that is why herbal formulation, why herbs are such a brilliant form of medicine for us to incorporate into our healthcare system. It's very gentle, and it is essential for the flow of energy and the substance in our body and in our mind. It's going to help clarify, give us more mental clarity, as well as helping our body. So it empowers our ability to heal on its own, and can help the body reestablish its own unique flow of balance. So you're probably wondering, how does this compare to synthetic medication? I'll give you a quick little background here. When science is researching and developing new medication that is going to mimic what nature does, they're simply looking at herbal formulations. They're looking at different herbs. They're looking at the structure and the science behind what these herbs do. And this is not new research. In fact, there is a book called The Materia Medica, and I have it here. And I wanted to show you that this is like thousands and thousands of pages of formulation and herbs indication of exactly what an herb does and its actions. So in science, they take this information, they study it, they research it, and then they mimic it. But there is a huge issue with that long term when we continue to consume medication long term. So it's never really designed, medication is never really designed for us to be on it forever. It's designed for us to use for a certain period of time and then allow ourselves to step away from it while we find an alternative. So let's talk a little bit about acupuncture, because acupuncture does play a role in this. This is more of like the practitioner's way of treating a patient, but then also herbal formulation is your home care. So the two actually go together, and you can't really separate them in order to achieve optimal health. Acupuncture excels in the movement of qi, life force, and blood. We are all electrical beings. We are all beings that possess this energy, this electricity, and we can positively manipulate this energy that is not moving or is not moving correctly using acupuncture. And this energy moves through blood, which is the life source, the fluid, the substance that nourishes all of our systems in our body. So the daily use of herbs provide nutrition and energy to support a healthier system response between acupuncture treatments. So whenever I'm in a treatment room and I'm treating a patient, I'm always going to recommend herbal formulation, food therapy, as well as acupuncture when they're in the treatment room. And herbal medicines, what they actually do is they're nature's reprogrammers of the body and the mind connection. You see, for thousands of years, Eastern herbal medicines have precisely documented, these like doctors have documented how different combinations affect different body systems. And there are multiple patterns that evolve. And so you can never really categorize something or diagnose somebody of a disease or a deficiency, because when we positively influence that pattern, the pattern evolves and it changes. And so the potential of using herbal formulation allows the body to grow and evolve, and then the symptoms start to fall off. Thus, the layers of the onions start to peel away. Eastern herbal medicines have documented these counteractions and incompatibilities of herbs in the materia medica, and it is an incomparable art and science unto itself. So we are not machines. We are creatures of divinity. We are creatures that are very unique in design. And so therefore, it's not about creating one medication or a synthetic drug that is going to create the body's ability to have a stronger immune system, because as the body continues to have the synthetic substance in the body, there then begins to develop side effects. Hence the long list of side effects at the end of a commercial when you're watching it on TV. So the importance of herbal formulation has much higher precedence than synthetic drugs. And all of this money that we're spending on research is literally created to create one drug to maybe and possibly help a category of people who have a condition that has the ability to evolve. Before I go any further, I want to tell you that I just recently moved to Austin, and Austin is currently leading the country in startups due to a combination of factors, including favorable business climate, a strong talent pool, and significant venture capital investment. Austin is home to like a thriving tech scene with many of the world's biggest tech companies like Amazon, Apple, Meta, and SpaceX, all establishing very large workforces and campuses in the city. And this movement has led to an influx of tech talent and innovation, creating very fertile ground for startups. It's also become this city of unicorns and startups valued at over $1 billion. In fact, according to recent reports, Austin is home to 20 unicorns, which is a testament to the city's ability to nurture and grow successful startups. It's also consistently ranking high on the list of best cities for startups. Commercial real estate platforms like Commercial Cafe name Austin as America's #1 city for startups. And moreover, a study by Crowdfund Capital Advisors ranks Austin as the best city in the country for startups. These Austin-based startups have access to ample funding opportunities, and in recent years, startups have been successful in raising substantial capital, which has further fueled the city's growth. Austin offers a supportive infrastructure for startups, including numerous co-working spaces, accelerator programs, and incubators. And the city also hosts several high-profile tech startup events, which provide networking and learning opportunities for startup founders. The local government in Austin has implemented startup-friendly policies even to make it easier for startups to run their business in the city. And this includes tax incentives, grants, and other forms of support. Basically, Austin is a combination of rich talent pool, access to funding, and a vibrant tech scene, and a very supportive business environment that has positioned itself as leading the country for startups in the United States. So that's what brings me to why Astronomic and who Astronomic is. Astronomic is a one-stop shop for everything investment related. It's not just a venture fund, it's much more than that. It's a complete ecosystem designed to help startups grow and succeed. And they have this cool thing called Constellation Dinners. It's an exclusive club where startups founders can meet and they can network. It's like a melting pot of ideas and a place where business partnerships begin. Astronomic also has an in-house digital studio with over 100 professionals, including researchers, designers, programmers, and the works. And these guys can be hired by your startup at rates that won't break the bank. Plus, they have a massive data warehouse with contact information for over millions of global investors, founders, and business leaders. And this data can be used by your startup to find customers and investors. And if you're a passive investor looking for promising opportunities, Astronomics is raising a venture fund. We also host supernova dinners, which are events designed to speed up the fundraising process for more mature startups and fund managers. So in a nutshell, Astronomic is like a launch pad for startups, providing them with all the tools and research they need to skyrocket their success. Pretty cool, right? We say at Astronomics that no one travels to the moon alone. So if you have a startup and you're looking for some fundraising or you're looking for some funds, we can help you out, and we'd be happy to share with you how you can get your business shooting for the stars. I get super passionate when I talk about this subject because when I was in the Coast Guard, that was the form of care. You went to the doctors, you got medication, you were in sick bay until you were stable enough to go back to work, and you went back to work. But it wasn't the solution to the problem. It was never the solution to the problem. In fact, it was a problem that created more problems. So when it comes to holistic therapy and holistic medicine, there are 5 branches in Chinese medicine. Herbal formulation is one of them. Acupuncture is another one. And these 2 therapies cannot be separated. They work hand in hand. In fact, historically and in Asia till this day, thousands of years later, since the conception of Chinese medicine, acupuncture is used to support herbal therapy, and at least 80% of Asians use herbal medicine before ever even getting acupuncture. In fact, herbal medicine is deployed first before acupuncture in many cases. Eastern medicine have over thousands of years have carefully observed and given us precise action and indication of using herbs, and this is listed throughout the Materia Medica. So with this incredible ability of herbal medicines to nourish our yin, our most deep, dark, delicate, feminine parts of our being, and increase the life force energy, why aren't more holistic doctors, acupuncturists, herbalists using herbal medicine in their practices? It's a real big question mark in my life. Well, the reason being is because herbal medicines have taken a back seat to acupuncture. And I believe it's because of the interactions that herbs have on certain medications. You see, in the United States, most people know acupuncture for its pain relieving effects, but rarely do they know that Americans consider acupuncture as an adjunct to healthcare. All right. And many Americans are also on a ton of drugs. When I mean a ton of drugs, I mean more than 2 or 3. And the concern of holistic doctors and acupuncturists is that using herbal medicines in these cases where patients are using a number of herbs, that the possibility of drugs and herb interaction can be not desirable. So in my 15 years of experience using herbal medication, I have never seen a drug and herb use interaction misused because an herbalist is expected to use high caution when a patient is using blood thinners or when a patient is pregnant, and they know to not use herbs that have the action of moving things downward in formulation. And so we have the ability to take these herbs, these single herbs out when we're making a custom formulation. So there is a huge opportunity for holistic practitioners and Chinese medicine doctors to begin replacing pharmaceutical medications with herbal formulation as the patient reestablishes the flow of qi and blood and reestablishes the interrelationship and interdependence within their own body and their healing process. So what I'm saying is that you can live a wholesome life and you can find and be prescribed herbs formulation that have the same action, if not better actions than synthetic drugs. But I am not saying that you can replace them right away. With the help of your Western medicine doctor and a Chinese medicine doctor, these two things can come together to help you get off of your medication and onto something more holistic, more natural, more delicate, more organic to your body. I'd like to ask a small favor of you. Have you had a negative experience using medication? And how do you feel we should move forward in our culture? Do you believe that herbal formulation can be the answer to the problem that we are experiencing today? Your thought process, your comments, your questions help me identify what information the world needs to hear based on my years of experience and research, so I can better point you in the direction that is going to enlighten you and inspire you and educate you on areas that we are not enlightened in or even informed about because of the dominance that Western medicine has in our world. So leave your comments below. And if you have any other questions or concerns, or you just want more information and you want to know where you can go to find more information, I've left some links in the description and I encourage you to go and check those out. The problem with pharmaceutical medication is that drugs are literally lifeless. They're foreign. They are a substance in the body that the body does not recognize because they are substances that are mimicking the body's, systems. And they are literally chemical compounds that do not give the body a choice on how it should respond. The body system is forced to react. And instead of responding without the body system's intelligent input. With herbal formulation, yes, we've got some intelligent input there. It's nature. It comes from nature. The formulation is delicately put together by somebody who has that high experience in using formulation and using acupuncture. And so therefore the intelligence is there. And what I love about this medicine so much is that in all of the patients that I have seen, I've been able to help them get off of their medication. In fact, I have several testimonials and stories of patients who are on 7 forms of medication, and with food and herbal formulation alone and acupuncture treatments, throughout, they were able to get off of more than 5 medications that they've been prescribed and have been living with for more than 10, 15 years. That's just how intelligent your body is, to be quite honest. In addition, drugs don't contain nutrients and they don't sustain the body's ability to support unnatural changes that they provoke. So that means when you take a medication and you experience side effects, the next thing that happens is you get put on another medication, and then you're constantly putting on another medication, or they're changing medication. And so the problem is never really resolved. These forces these forces of change in the body as it's trying to heal itself depletes the body of its nutrients and energy resources, and it produces further undesirable reactions that make it even harder for someone to restore themselves. So eventually, the sustained reaction, as opposed to the intelligent response by using herbal formulation, will burn out the supporting substances of the body's system. And this is when we begin to see organ failure. This is when we begin to see the shutdown of systems in our body, the shutdown of our mind, and the mental clarity that begins to just disappear because we don't have the nutrients and the substance and the things that keep our energy in flow and in balance. So lacking the organic, life-sustaining, and nourishing compounds of herbal medicines is one reason why drugs are so depleting of the body, because we don't have the life-sustaining, nourishing compounds that come from herbs. So having said that all above, drugs do save lives in acute situations. And I don't want the world to think that I'm completely against medication. Yes, there is a need for synthetic drugs in acute situations. However, continuous use of them over years upon years upon years is detrimental, and it's pretty obvious for anyone who's experienced this. And once the system is stabilized, there should be a gradual decline while using herbal formulations. So once you've gone through this acute stage and it's stable, your body's stable, there should be a gradual decline where we should be taking you off of your medication while we're giving you herbal formulation as lifestyles changes, as proper diet changes, okay, as acupuncture is there to support the system and to replace the effects of drugs. So what we're not getting and what we want to get in our healthcare system is education and an explanation on the facts of how we can support and build our patients' lifestyle and to build rapport and trust between doctor and patient. So there's a couple of resources that I want to leave with you today that will help you on your journey if you are in a situation where you're just looking for some help in the area of holistic medicine. And some of the resources that I have for you is in the form of a website where you can find holistic practitioners and you can find acupuncturists and Chinese medicine doctors perhaps in your town or city. One website that I am very passionate about is heal.me. It's a fairly new website. It's a directory of multiple holistic medicine practitioners that can provide a level of care that you may not be receiving from your Western medicine practitioner. Another one is acufinder.com. Acufinder.com is a list of acupuncturists around the country who can provide the level of service that you are expecting when it comes to using Chinese medicine or holistic therapies within your personal, healthcare practice. How we can successfully work with your practitioner as well as incorporating holistic therapies. Acufinder helps you find those qualified practitioners throughout the country. And then when you're looking for a low-cost type of acupuncture that is out there, you want to look for a community acupuncture clinic in your area. These are oftentimes sliding scale community clinics where they treat you on the distal aspects of the hands and the feet, because these are considered microsystems, and this is where sometimes the lack of energy and qi is. And so we are able to still treat the whole entire body successfully using these distal acupuncture points, because there are microsystems that also illustrate how to heal the body even without having to go to some of the more local areas of the body. And then there's always local acupuncture schools in a major city near you, you can find a local acupuncture school where they will take in patients and treat you based on your Chinese medicine diagnosis. And these are low-cost treatment centers where you can expect to experience results. And students are overseen by TCM doctors who have been studying and who have been in practice for several years. I want to thank you so much for joining me on my YouTube channel. It is with so much pleasure that I bring this information to you. I'm very passionate about your health and you living your most optimal life. My name is Dr. Antonika, and I hope to see you in the next video. The Camusa necklace, also known as the shift, is a unique piece of jewelry inspired by ancient Japanese medicine practices. More than just an accessory, it's a mindful breathing tool designed by a licensed psychotherapist to help you slow your exhale, reduce anxiety, and transform your day one breath at a time. Made from high-quality stainless steel, the shift is not only stylish, but also a constant reminder to pause, breathe, and realign with your inner calm amidst the chaos of daily